Alright, for this video I'm going to be talking about my struggles with economic stress. I decided to make this video because I've been having to deal with a lot of stress recently as a result of my own financial instability, and I want to make this video as a way to not only vent about that, but also to be able to organize my thoughts better and to be able to make peace with these things. And I also want to be able to help anybody else that might watch this video with their own fears and stress related to financial instability. And so, while trying to figure out how I was going to make this video, I had issues with wording. I had issues with trying to figure out how I was going to express what I was trying to talk about in this video. And so I looked up a definition for what I mean by economic stress, and I found this definition to be great at explaining what I was having difficulties explaining on my own. And so the definition says, economic stress is the feeling of stress due to the current state of one's personal finances and or due to fear about the economy. So that definition brings up two main points about things that have been causing me stress lately. One of those things being the state of my own personal finances, and the second main point being my fear about the economy. And so, first, I want to talk about the stress due to my own personal finances. So, in the area that I live at, it is winter time. It is close to Christmas time. And so I've had three main things that have contributed to my financial instability. One thing being less hours at work due to business being slower at the place that I work during the winter time. The second thing contributing to my financial instability is my rent increasing. My rent has increased as a result of my income having increased since the last time that the lease to my apartment was renewed. And so since it was the time of year again for the lease to my apartment, since it was the time for that lease to be renewed again, I had to provide information about my income, which resulted in my rent being increased. However, I do not feel like my rent being increased as much as it was. I do not feel like that was a fair increase, because now that makes things a lot more difficult for me. And so a third main thing that has contributed to my financial instability is having to buy Christmas presents. Those three things that I mentioned that have contributed to my financial instability have just overwhelmed me this month and weighed me down and made me feel like I've been thrown down a deep hole that I don't know how to get out of. And I've had a lot of worries, I've had a lot of fears related to this, and I felt like I've been stuck in a loop. I felt like I've been stuck in a loop in my life in which I try what I think is my best to take action to make things easier for myself. And then it seems like no matter how hard I try, curveballs always get thrown at me that end up making me feel like I might not be able to get out of whatever hole that I've been put into. And so I am wanting to be able to organize my thoughts and make peace with that so that I can be able to continue to have hope. And so I've been afraid that at some point in the future I might not be able to buy Christmas presents anymore. I've been afraid that at some point in the future I might not be able to have enough money in order for me to have enough food to eat. I've been afraid that at some point in the future I may not be able to have enough money in order to be able to avoid homelessness. And so even though that doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like these things that I'm afraid of would happen soon, I still have fears that they might occur at some point in my life, in the future. Because the way I look at things, if more things keep contributing to the quality of my life getting worse, and if I don't know how to deal with those things, if I don't know how to do things to make it better, and therefore, as a result of that, things keep getting worse, then how am I supposed to maintain stability? If there's an imbalance that keeps getting worse, how am I supposed to maintain stability? And I felt stuck. I felt like I've done what I can to help myself out, and that I'm playing a waiting game, hoping that things just work out. And I know that I have to try to do what I can to make my chances for success better, or I should say higher. But I'm not sure what else to do. I'm trying to figure out what I can, but I still have to live with fear that no matter how hard I try, that things may not work out the way I want them to. But I'm still trying to hold on to hope that maybe things will work out. And I'm hoping that eventually that everybody in the world currently, and that everybody that has ever existed and that will come into existence, I hope that everybody will be able to find peace, and that everybody will be able to work out these issues. And I have to hold on to that hope to keep me going, because I have felt so hurt, not only by struggles that I've had, but by struggles that other people have had. And I feel bad for other people when I notice that they're having issues with certain things, and my mind holds on to these things. My mind makes me store a lot of memories related to not only myself but other people getting hurt. And over time I notice more of these kinds of things occurring in the world, and my mind keeps storing this information, and eventually I get overwhelmed by it. It becomes too much for me to process. I get overwhelmed by it, and then I need to vent so that I can try to organize it. And so I'm trying not to be too much of a downer, but I'm also trying not to be I'm trying not to be too much of a downer, but I'm also trying not to rely off of magical thinking to get me through. I'm trying to figure out what I can do to make things better for myself, but I know that if I only focus on trying to make things better for myself, if I don't try to focus on helping out other people, then my quality of life will get worse. Because I end up having empathy that makes it to where if I don't try to help other people in some way, if I don't try to make myself feel useful, if I don't try to contribute in some way, then I end up holding on to a lot of guilt, and I end up suffering a lot as a result of that. And so I have to make videos like this because these videos are attempts for me to try to contribute in some way. These videos are attempts for me to try to express myself, for me to try to organize my thoughts about things, and for me to try to help other people. And I don't know if these videos are going to help anybody, but I have to try. And so these videos aren't the only way that I know how to go about trying to help other people, but they're one of the main ways that I know how to use to try and help people. And so I'm trying to work within my comfort zone here to try and do what I can to feel like I'm creating something that might be good. And I have to deal with fears about not doing enough or overdoing things. I have to deal with fears about not making things quite how I want to make them. And a lot of these things that are piling on top of me, weighing me down, is making it difficult for me to be able to make these videos, because it takes a lot of my energy to be able to make these videos, and that's why I make inventing videos, because they're easier to do. I mean, yeah, they're still very difficult to do, but sometimes I just need to vent about things. Sometimes that's about all I know how to do. And I've also been afraid about other people's personal finances, and I've been afraid about what may happen to many people in the world. I'm afraid about how humanity in general is going to deal with conflicts. I've been afraid about major economic downfalls and societal downfalls. I've been afraid about doomsday scenarios. I've been afraid about major human conflicts and how they will affect the many people that live in our world. And a lot of these fears and things that have caused me stress lately have weighed down on me a lot. And I just want to hold on to hope that maybe us humans can find more peaceful ways to deal with conflicts. And I'm hoping that we can remind each other that we need to help each other out. And I hope that we can not lose ourselves, and I hope that we can maintain our bonds with one another, and I hope that we can keep our sanity, and I hope that we can try to figure out how to help each other and how to be there for each other and emotionally support each other. And I don't want to feel alone. I don't want anybody else to feel alone. And so this video is an attempt to try to connect with people. And so I just feel like I just want to have peace. And that's it for this video. Peace.